I'm trying to like scoot my chair so you cannot see the absolute mess behind me. Hello guys, today I wanted to yap about The Last of Us show season 2. It is heavily talked about, like there are a billion videos online about it and they're all scripted, incredibly well written and amazing video essays. And you know, I created this channel to fit in and be one of those amazing video essays, but you know, sometimes I don't have a scripting bone in my body because I'm too much of a grade A yapper. Like, I just need to talk, especially when I'm so passionate about something. So firstly, I apologize for my room. Are you ready for the excuse? I've had an extremely bad month for my health. If you didn't know, I have suspected endometriosis. I don't know why you wouldn't know that. Maybe it's because you're cool and follow my TikTok or other YouTube channel, but I have suspected endometriosis, which means doctor appointment after pain, after calling out of work sick, after crying every night. And that's why my room's messy. I say that my room has never been clean a day in its life. I'm so bad at cleaning. I'm such a mess. Anyway, my favorite, let me just show you. Let me pull it up. Let me pull up the motherfucking receipts. The Last of Us is my all-time favorite game. I have a PS5 just to play it, and it was truly a breathtaking experience to play. Like, my god, was this game life-changing, bro. Like, if you ask me, I will not stop talking about it. Like, oh my god. And so when HBO announced they were creating a Last of Us show, your girl was excited. Why was she excited? Because now I have my very set specific video game besties. I have my friends who are obsessed with video games. And then I have my friends and family who are not so obsessed with video games, or in turn have lives. And so when I came to the realization that if I shove this show down their throats, people will understand me, I was like, yes, this is damn well brilliant. I'm so sorry for me when I have to edit this later. It's gonna be a right mess. But I was excited, right? So the show comes along, controversy hits when Sarah is played by a black girl, which honestly, like, is far from my care. I don't care. And I don't care because I'm not acknowledging that race swapping can be an issue in circumstances. We don't even know Joel's ex or dead wife. I'm assuming she's dead. We don't know who Sarah's mother is, right? We don't know. She could have been black. Fuck knows. Who cares? Has nothing to do with the story. Controversy hit then. Controversy hit when Bella Ramsey was casted as Ellie. I literally talked about The Last of Us the other day and someone commented the chopped of us. And like, one, literally almost everyone in that show is attractive. Two, Bella Ramsey is not ugly, guys. Like, in my opinion, Bella Ramsey's not bad. Was she a bad actor in this show? In my opinion, yeah. Like, I'm gonna get hate for that, but yeah, I don't think she did very well. I don't think she was right for Ellie. Do I think they as the actor, I believe they them pronouns. I'm so sorry, I don't know. I believe they don't deserve the hate, right? I'm just gonna refer to them as they them to cover my ass. Does Bella Ramsey deserve hate? No. I don't think actors deserve hate for writing choices or casting choices. No. But the season 1 was not dreadful. My boyfriend watched it when he went to Europe. He like flew to Europe, watched it on the plane, and he was like, oh, I kind of like the first few episodes that we watched together, so I'm gonna keep watching it on the plane. I was like, Puff, you're gonna hate it. I was like, it's a stupid show, let me know if you enjoy it. And he literally like gets off the plane and he messages me and he's like, it just kept getting worse. And he's never played the game. He's played it like briefly because he's in uni, and side note, when he's in uni, he leaves his PS5 at his family home. So he just comes over and uses mine, basically. And so he's like played a little bit, but he did not like the show. He was like, it just kept getting worse. And I was like, oh, wait until season 2, babes. And yeah, I don't think, anyways, my point is, the point, we're getting there, is that I don't think season 1 is all terrible. It has its moments. Ellie and Joel's relationship really tie it together because that's why the game is so amazing. Because of the love aspect. We all love to love Joel and Ellie's relationship, right? So it really held up on its own despite maybe bad scenes, bad writing, bad acting, bad casting. It doesn't matter because at the crux of it, everyone loves Joel and Ellie. Flash to this year when season 2 comes out. Whew. I want to preface by saying I haven't even watched it. I've watched parts of it. I've watched TikToks about it. And I guess the premise of today's video is people are already talking about how the game was bad, people are already talking about the show was bad, people are already dissecting scenes, but I want to talk about, was The Last of Us Season 2 doomed to fail? The reason I want to talk about this is because some people do think it was doomed to fail. I mean, season 2, game 2, The Last of Us Part 2 was heavily scrutinized. It was dissected. People hated Abby's muscles, people hated the game, people hated the revenge, people hated the way that Joel died, people hated it all. So, was it doomed to fail just because when you're adapting something, if you're adapting something that is already pretty well divided and hated, is it kind of already dooming it to fail? I actually don't think so, and I might hold a different opinion to some people here, but I'm going to try and make my case and fight my case here. I think that it wasn't doomed to fail because the actual story of The Last of Us Part 2 was incredible. So I've made a TikTok on this before, and I have said I think The Last of Us Part 2 had an incredible story. It is emotional, it is miserable, it is painful, it is full of grief and revenge and heartbreak, and we lose our favorite characters, but from a story perspective, it is a good story on paper. But they done fucked it up with the structure, and they did it bad because it's a game. For a game, you can't just draw people in via the story, you have to make it paced well and playable and enjoyable to actually experience. Because a movie, you're watching it, you can argue it's an experience, sure, but a game is an experience. You are the experience, you are playing it. You are experiencing the story firsthand. In The Last of Us 1, you were experiencing it as Joel, and now we're experiencing it as Ellie, and so that is where the show struggled. Especially in season 1, they had to lengthen Sarah's alive when she was alive, because we already love Sarah from the moment we're her, because we are a 14 or 12-year-old girl, I don't know her exact age. We are playing as her, and so now we are her. And in our minds, we are protecting a little girl. We are the little girl. But when you're watching it, it's a different experience. It takes longer to love them. You've also got to think about it from the perspective of a lot of shows now have to take into consideration, is it still understandable if people are scrolling on their phones? And that's why a lot of shows nowadays feel like they are really just telling, not showing, because a lot of people have the attention span of a toddler. And so you've also got to account for when you're playing a game, which is why horror games are so much scarier than horror movies, by the way. You're playing and you're experiencing and you're focused, because it is real hard to play The Last of Us if you're not focused. So you are focused and you are nailed into what's happening. You are in it. With the show, you might be scrolling, you might be doing something else, you might be talking to someone, you're not in it. So that was already gonna be hard. To replicate a game that was so loved because you were in it, replicating it to the screen was already gonna be hard. Getting us to love Abby, someone who was hard to love in the game, to the screen was gonna be hard. I think the story is really good, but it gets stale. I found when I played The Last of Us Part 2, I actually had to stop playing. I found the pacing dreadful, I found it really boring to play, and I just felt stagnant. I just didn't enjoy it, and then I just stopped playing, life got in the way, and I just never touched it again. Whereas The Last of Us Part 1, I'm pretty sure I just played it straight. I loved it, I thought it was so good, I had to go on and keep playing as Joel. The Last of Us Part 2 struggles with keeping people engaged in the gameplay. And I don't even think it's a story issue necessarily. I think they could keep the base of the story and change things. They could maybe change the abruption of how Joel dies. They could maybe change who Abby is. They could maybe change the structure of how the story is told. But they don't. They put it on the big screen and they change all the parts that didn't need changing. And I'm going to give a few examples for this. The way Mel and Owen died. The accidental shooting, the weird C-section, it felt so odd and it felt so unnecessary. Or Dina and Ellie's sex scene. In the game, it is very clear you can see Ellie spiraling. She is becoming revenge-ridden, and a very good first example of when we see this is when Dina goes, "Ellie, I'm pregnant." And Ellie's like, "How long have you known?" And Dina goes, "I was late a few weeks ago, I didn't want to be a burden." And Ellie snaps and goes, "Well, you're a burden now." It is a heartbreaking moment for people who love Dina and Ellie. It is a heartbreaking moment for people who saw Ellie in the first game and love her, because she is becoming someone we no longer know. But then when you compare it and juxtapose it to the show, and Ellie goes, I'm gonna be a dad, and then they have sex. It makes no sense. And some people were saying, oh, it's homophobes and people don't want to see a sex scene. There was a sex scene in the game. It happened at a more appropriate time. It happened before Joel was dead, which is the appropriate time to put a sex scene in, because Ellie is not going to be having lesbian love sex with someone when her adoptive father, basically, her figurative father, just died, brutally murdered in front of her. She's not gonna be like that. It feels like a cute lesbian love trip and not a revenge mission. The show feels silly. It feels like they moved all the good parts, and then the really serious, well-written scenes pulled from the game don't make any sense, because we don't see that side of Ellie until she's pulled from the game Ellie. And this isn't even necessarily Bella Ramsey's acting fault at all. This is purely writing based, because what are they doing? They could have changed so much. And something that gets me, and I'm still on the fence of whether this was a good idea, but the way we're introduced to Abby is Abby and the rest of them talking about what happened at the hospital. And they were talking about Joel murdering people, and then when Abby murders Joel, she reveals, "You killed my dad." A plot twist, or at least a plot reveal, we didn't find until very later in the game, which finally unravels for all of us the reason Abby did what she did. We play the first part of the game on the revenge mission with Ellie, and then I think the idea of what they wanted us to do was see Abby's side and flip. And then at the end of the game, we're no longer on this revenge mission with Ellie, we are actually in an understanding of Abby. That's what they wanted. I'm not saying that's necessarily how you felt while playing, but that is, I think, what they wanted. But they changed this. They revealed it to us really early, just like they did the porch scene in The Last of Us Season 2 way too early with Joel and Ellie having a conversation, and they really just threw the marks. And I'm not going to give every explanation because it's been covered in a billion video essays, but my point is, they revealed this so early, they had a chance to change the structure. The structure was really in its place, so we could be on the revenge mission with Ellie, see Abby's side and love her, have the reveal of why Abby did what she did through a flashback, and dunzos. But now you've revealed it to us, we don't need this, because you've actually got us sympathizing with Abby way before we've seen her side, because if you haven't watched the show, Season 3 is going to be when we see Abby's side. I don't think they should have done this. I think they should have changed the structure. I think they should have intertwined them so we're going along with both of them, because I feel like they didn't put enough time in with Ellie and make her character better, and I feel like they've actually done better for Abby. And it feels really odd, but I just think they should have changed the structure. I think there are a lot of fatal flaws that the game had that they could have changed in the show, and I think the story of the game could have actually done really well in show form, because you're not actually playing it. You don't have to go through all the begrudging gameplay of it, because no one wants to go through a couple hours of Abby trying to find Owen and Mel when you know they're already dead because you already murdered them in the last scene. Like, no one wants to do that. So change it in the show. Like, there is so much they actually could have done. And I think this all forms from adaptations not knowing what they want to do. I mean, they know what they want to do. They want to be a cash grab, but they don't know what they want to do from the element of, like, actually portraying something. Shows, movies, games, they need a theme, they need a reason to breathe and exist and become forms of art. And I don't think adaptations know what they're doing. Are you making the game into a show to actually bring it to life on screen? Or are you making it a show to remove all the criticism, such as Abby's muscle, and put her as Caitlin Denver, and then removing all of that and making just a worse form of something that was already great? I don't think adaptations even know what story they're trying to tell. They're just changing good parts, and then the other good parts make no sense because of what they already changed, and they don't realize that adaptations don't work most of the time because everything has meaning based on the way the entire story has unfolded. And when you change one little thing, you unknowingly create a fold of events that sometimes makes things not work anymore. I think The Last of Us Season 2 could have been absolutely fantastic. I think it had the ability to shine, but it was done so poorly that people are starting to like the game. I don't know, I just had to have a little rant about it because I've seen people say that it was doomed to fail. I really don't think it was. I really think they had a great story they could have worked with some fine tweaking, slight changes of the story, maybe additions of different things. They really could have made it shine, and it's really unfortunate that they didn't, because they do have a great game, a great piece of media artwork to really work with, and they really flopped the bag. And it does really feel like a cash grab, and I actually really don't know how Bella Ramsey got this position as Ellie. It's all weird. I don't know. Anyways, bye.